Hi, I am Allie Camilletti, and you are listening to Snack Leadership. I will be talking about everything leadership, broken down into bite-sized pieces. You will hear what different leadership skills look like in organizations and how they can rise teams up or take them down. I help leaders build resilience and improve performance by bringing awareness to opportunity behaviors in my business. Spark your mindset. I provide leadership and sales coaching, as well as team building and guest speaking. My hope is for you to feel inspiration and to create a spark in your mindset. Hi everyone. Today we are talking about intention. Intention in leadership is the conscious and deliberate choice to direct one's attention, decisions, and actions toward a desired outcome, guided by purpose, values, and responsibility for impact. Today, I'm going to share with you an article by Forbes titled From Reactive to Reflective, Leading with Intention in Times of Change. They start off talking about how in today's fast-paced world, how we're all about moving fast and we can wear it like a badge of honor, right? The thrill of moving fast and whatever it takes approach. But over time, constant reactivity becomes a trap. It erodes strategic focus. It strains teams. And it disconnects leaders from the very purpose that once anchored them. This is especially true in times of uncertainty and change. When tension is high, decisions are complex, and outcomes are unpredictable. In the rush, even well-meaning people and priorities can get sidelined. Leaders feel pressure to act swiftly, to respond to the next fire, to prove their value by doing. But this constant motion often masks a deeper cost: the loss of intentional leadership. It's funny this comes about now, because I've recently taken on a project, small project. It's been something that's been on my mind. I live right across the school from the school that my daughter goes to, and there's a crosswalk. We have one main street that comes from downtown by her school, and then we have the street that intersects with it that we live on. And this crosswalk, I've noticed for a while, it needs something extra. And when we were up in Seattle over the summer, I noticed this self-led flag crosswalk, and I just loved it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is totally what we need. And it's been on my mind. I've been hoping somebody else would do it, and kind of have thrown things out here once in a while at the school about like, oh, wouldn't it be cool? Nobody really grabbed it. And then every morning as I walk my daughter to school, I watch how there are pedestrians that park right across from the school at a museum, and they don't use the crosswalk. They usually park there late, they're in a hurry, and they run across the street. It's dangerous. The school has put signs up saying, please use the crosswalk. Recently, they put a flashing crosswalk on one block, but this next block, really, for me, I find to be the most dangerous, because that's right when people speed up because they feel like they're about to get out of the school zone. And so I took on this project, and I was not intentional with my actions. And this speaks so perfectly to it. And so they talk about the cost of reactivity. Reactive leadership means operating from a state of urgency, and defensiveness can come in, responding to what's loudest rather than what's most important. I've been self-employed for over 20 years. I don't really have to check in usually with other people if I want to do something. I just do it. Well, the right thing to do, if we move forward with this initiative by ourselves as a school and fund it and make it happen, we need to still go through the city and get their permission. Well, the city means there's a process. I instantly got the name of the gentleman I should email and emailed and said, hey, I feel like we should do this. He responded and said, yeah, I'll take it to the city meeting. And that was it. And I was like, oh, I don't think this is going to get anywhere. Intentionally, I should have been more intentional, and I should have stopped and thought about it, asked more people about, hey, when you communicate with the city, what are some things you found? What should I pay attention to? Write out a deliberate letter, right? So it's common. It's common for people to do this. And I see my faults now, and we'll see how this is going to go. I don't think the city's going to fund it. They're not going to buy into it, but I think the school has agreed. I know they've agreed to fund it. Now I just have to get the city on board that they're going to agree to colorful flags, as well as us attaching a bin per se to hold the flags to the city poles that say school crosswalk. Now, what happens is those who put out fires often receive more recognition, right? We know this. And reward than those who take the time to be proactive or preemptive. This is going to be a slow process. I know it will be. I'm trying to be patient. I just want to get it done, though. So over time, leaders stuck in the reactive mode tend to chase short-term wins at the expense of long-term vision. As I went down this road, I was like, okay, we can do buckets and put cement in them, and then we'll put sleeves in for the flags. And I'm communicating with other parents, and they're adding in ideas, and we're like, okay, we're on board. Short-term, right? Win, but long-term vision. After doing more research, seeing other cities that have done this, I'm like, oh, we totally have to attach this to the actual pole, and there need to be instructions. So another cost is making decisions based on pressure instead of principle. I was not looking totally at the long term. I was like, I just want to get it done and move on because I have things to get done and I want this to happen. No, slow it down. So what also can happen is you drift from values and unintentionally model that drift for others around you. So if I get in this, we're doing it, we're moving fast type of mode, people are going to emulate how I'm acting, right? And do the same. And I want somebody that's going to be like, so let's take some time with this, Ellie. Let's think about this. Well, since then, I've written out a letter to the city proposing what we would like to do, and we just want their sign off on a couple of things. So Forbes says when change is constant, reactivity feels justified. We have been in a place of change for a while, right? I feel like ever since COVID, it just kind of threw us and we're like, oh. But reactive leadership limits growth, stifles innovation, and creates burnout. Yeah. Because you think about those leaders, I know I've been around them, that they're just constantly like, they're the idea person. They want somebody else to execute it, but it burns people out. They're like, oh my gosh, can we just wait a minute? So for the leader and those around them, it can really burn them out. Reflection is a strategic tool, not a luxury. So I've been reflecting. How could I have done this different? Well, I could have gotten a few people together and said, hey, can we have coffee? I want to talk through something that I have an idea about. And I could have gathered all my ideas and thoughts before just moving quickly, emailing the city and being like, hey, I want to do this. The most effective leaders have worked to pause and think before acting. They anchor decisions to values, and they create space to ask the deeper questions. What's really driving the decision? And that was part of what I put into the letter is what's the problem? Well, the problem is people are walking across the street because they're not using the crosswalk. Will this stop them? I'm not sure. But my idea is how do we get the entire school involved in this process to where we all own it? And the idea is we're going to have a flag design contest. And so the winners of the contest, we would have that flag designed. Everybody on board, we're going to educate them how to use the crosswalk. I believe it'll reduce the amount of people walking right across the street and not using the crosswalk. Now, will this fall off after a while, and will people get set into old patterns? Potentially. The other part is it offers people a way of crossing and feeling safe by waving the flag when, some of these cars, you're like, I don't know if they're looking at me or not, but if I'm waving something, then they're paying attention. That's what's driving my decision to implement this. What are we reacting to, and what are we trying to create, right? So I'm reacting to the fact that people are continuing to walk right across the street. And I just watched, because I can see from my living room that crosswalk. The other day, somebody was getting ready to walk and they were like scared this person was going to hit them. And you always want to be like, hey, do you see me, before moving forward, because you never know. We're trying to create safety. I am, at least. Is this aligned with the impact we want to have? Absolutely. I want to be a parent that proactively finds different solutions, because the sign that says, please walk on the crosswalks, is not working. So let's try something different. The shift from reflex to reflection will sharpen your focus, allowing you to lead from clarity instead of chaos. And it often results in more confidence, stronger alignment, and better business outcomes. So leading with intention, it's a practice. So 3 ways they share that you can begin to shift from reactive to reflective, if this is something you struggle with. I don't know. I definitely know I do. Create space to think. Schedule regular, protected time to step back and reflect. Not to catch up on emails, but to pause and consider what matters most right now. Think of it as a strategic reset that allows you to respond with clarity rather than react from stress. Do I think I react from stress? I don't think I do. I think I know I'm an anxious person. So I just kind of act fast and anxious. Reconnect with your values, right? When the pressure is on, values can become blurry. Write down your top 3 leadership principles. Then ask yourself, are my current actions aligned with them? If not, what needs to change? I think my only disalignment, as I think about my own values, might be respecting that other people need to move slower, like the city, and it's going to take time. So respecting their time frame and not be so focused on my own. Third, consider coaching as a thinking partnership. So you don't have to make every decision alone. A coach can create the space to challenge assumptions, test ideas through experimentation, take you out of your comfort zone, and reconnect you to your deeper leadership goals, especially when the pace around you is pushing you to react. One of the phrases they share is go slow to go fast. Embracing it can radically shift how they show up and what they make possible. That's so good. Go slow to go fast. I've heard that before. Slowing down is wise, not weak. I don't know if you've encountered the people that go slowly. I have. I struggle with it, right? Because I want to move fast. But it's important to go slow. Take time. Get counsel. It's okay to get counsel. Spend time thinking about it, right? I've researched it more and found what I believe is the best solution instead of the bucket with the cement. And it's actually more cost effective to have the bucket attached to the sign, and it's at their eye level for the instructions. It just makes sense. Intentional leadership is all about being purposeful. It's not the loudest voice in the room or the fastest decision that wins. It's the one anchored in clarity, guided by values and aligned with a bigger vision. In moments of change and uncertainty, your greatest strength isn't how fast you move, it's how clearly you lead. If you find yourself stuck in reaction mode, it may be time to create space for something more powerful: reflection, alignment, and the kind of leadership that truly lasts. Such a great article. I love Forbes. So I leave with you this quote. Between stimulus and response, there's a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. Viktor E. Frankl. My favorite quote. Thank you for tuning in to Snack Leadership. I hope you felt inspiration, motivation, and felt your mindset spark. Snack Leadership is recorded and produced by myself, Ali Camilletti, and music by Shireen Amini.